I did it. I lost the 80 pounds that I'd been carrying for years. And I thought that was it. I thought I was going to be free to live my life happily, but no, it wasn't over. Losing 80 pounds was only step one. My body was lighter, but what I discovered was there was this psychological script, like a program running deep in my brain that wasn't mine. It was a script that created that intense, uncontrollable energy, that craving that keeps us coming back for more, even when we know we shouldn't, even when we know this is bad for us. That that uncontrolled that script had been keeping me trapped for decades. And guess what? It's the same script that's keeping you stuck. Second guessing your every move. What should I eat? Is this okay to eat? Um, uh, that feeling, that weight loss is impossible that you have. It's time to expose that script, who wrote it, and how to delete it, how to get it out of our head forever. Because the true transformation that's going to happen in your life happens when you're in control of your decisions. If you're new here, I'm Violet. I make these videos because 8 years ago, I learned that the food I thought was healthy was actually the food that was causing my weight gain and my poor health. So I'm sharing what I learned so that you have a chance to get your health back. Please subscribe. Years ago, I felt stuck. I had an extra 80 pounds on me. I was trying to eat healthy. I was failing miserably, by the way. Now, my self-esteem was very good, though. Like, I was really proud of the work I did, the parent I was, like the person that I was in the world. I was proud of that. But my self-confidence was taking a beating. I was failing at taking care of myself, right? I was nowhere near in control of my eating. I didn't know how to do it properly to be healthy. I didn't trust myself around food, around junk food. Let me be specific. I didn't trust myself around chocolate. Put chocolate in front of me, it was a bad situation. I didn't know how to say no to chocolate, which is crazy. I have a kid. I say no to my kid all the time. I work and I do all kinds of, but I couldn't say no to chocolate. So my self confidence. So when I started keto, the first thing that happened within days of starting my keto lifestyle was that it exposed that I had a sugar addiction. And I started to understand why I actually couldn't stay in control of the foods that I was trying to eat. Right? Even when I was trying to be good, my sugar addiction would kick in and I would eat off plan. So right away understood that there was something else going on. So this script that I'm telling you about, that is when I figured out, no, there's something else deep in here that's wrong. So when I went through withdrawal, which is how I figured this out, right? Because about day 3-ish, started to find myself like really wanting to eat things that I normally don't want to eat. I don't care at all about fruit. Never have, still don't. But yet, when I was in that moment, because I had taken all the bread out of my diet, I wasn't eating any junk food. I wasn't eating rice, potatoes. So for 3 days, I had eaten very low glycemic vegetables and meat. And I was scouring my kitchen looking for fruit, first of all, but at the same time, not wanting to eat it because I knew that that was high in sugar. And what I had just learned was that the sugar in my diet was causing my health and weight problems. Wellness warrior. Because of the work that I do, I right away understood that I was living through withdrawal. that fixated, focused thing that we see people do. For example, if you're a drinker, wanting to drink things like mouthwash. It's not the typical drink of choice. I was doing that. And it really opened my eyes to what had actually been happening to me and what was going on in my head. And the only thing that I had removed up to that point was high carbohydrate food. Still eating the meats that I normally ate, still spicing them the same way. The only thing were the side dishes were different for 3 days in a row. Have you ever been around a drinker who hadn't had a drink for 3 days? They're not fun to be around. They're not fun to be around. It was obvious to me what was happening. And so I now understood that little thing that we were warned about. I did see a few videos about this keto flu idea. Keto flu is withdrawal. Withdrawal means you have an addiction. That it is impossible. It's impossible to have withdrawal if you weren't addicted to something. That script that was sewn into my head, that's been sewn into all of your heads, was sewn in there by companies that want us to overeat their foolishness. I'm saying a big thing right now. I'm giving it to you up front at the beginning of the video because I know not everybody's going to make it to the end. I want you to understand what's happening. Back in the 70s, food companies hired a dude named Howard Mouskowitz. He's a scientist. And they hired him to discover the perfect combination of salt, sugar, and fat that would cause people to not be able to stop eating their product. They called that perfect point the bliss point. That's the point at which food tastes so delicious, you don't just eat it, you overeat it. I'm compelled to eat their foods, and then I blame myself for eating their foods and being overweight because I should have willpower, right? Well, no, it's because I'm not aware the foods were engineered to be overeaten. And therefore, my health actually continues to suffer. I'm gaining weight. I'm getting sicker because your body is just getting assaulted with all the sugar, seed oils, and chemicals in the processed food. Okay, let me back a bit. 8 years ago, I learned that eating the healthy food, so the fruits, the vegetables, you know how they tell us eat 5 to 8 servings of fruits and vegetables? So those healthy foods, eating that healthy stuff, what I learned, causes us to crave the junk food. Yeah. Eating the healthy fruits and vegetables keeps a steady flow of sugar, carbohydrates. Sugar and carbohydrates are 2 words for the same stuff. Even on the packagings of your stuff, when you see sugar and you see carbohydrates and they're splitting into, don't believe them, they're the same thing. Okay. That steady flow of carbohydrates that's coming into my body is priming me. It's keeping me ready and willing and looking forward to eating the cookies, the ice cream, the chocolate that I love to eat. Every fruit, vegetable, grain, salad feeds that constant stream of sugar into our brain, right? Because that's where it's happening. Your brain is building this addiction to the foods, so the things we're calling food. The things we're calling food, right? Because food is meat, fish, poultry, eggs. That's food. So those sugars allow our brain to release more dopamine so easily and quickly and sustainably than the normal things that would usually get our dopamine to be released, right? Because dopamine is released in other ways. When you do great activities, when you're excited for things, like normal activities release dopamine, but at nowhere near the rate of the stupid stuff that we eat. They just pump it out. So our brain actually gets hijacked by the sugar. no matter what source it's coming from. So the healthy fruits and vegetables and grains, blah, 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 or the cookies and ice cream and chocolate, blah, blah, the chocolate that was getting me, right? Regardless of the source. So even if you avoid junk food for a week, right, and you're doing super good, you're still eating a bunch of sugar in your rice, potatoes, pasta, apples, bananas, right? We are still getting fatter and sicker. We're confused. We don't understand. I'm doing everything that the doctor told me to do. Why aren't I losing weight? You even add gym workouts to this because you're going to make sure that you do it. And you're still getting weight on year after year. You're still getting sicker and sicker. By the time I was 46, Wellness Warrior, the pain in my joints was excruciating. And you know what that does to us? When we are doing everything we are told to do and it's not working, it just makes us want to quit, right? Why am I not eating the fun stuff if I'm still gaining weight and I'm still feeling horrible? What is the point of all of the? And sometimes we quit, right? We either give up on our diets altogether or we sometimes just let some junk food back in once in a blue moon because, right? It's okay. I'm gaining weight anyways. Every time we run the script of eating healthy food, the script that's in our head that's connected to this addiction thing and the stuff, every time we let that script run in our head that says that this is a normal way to eat and it's fueling this addiction that's deep in my brain that's causing me to eat unhealthy. The healthy foods walk us towards the unhealthy food. They solidify that we will eat company junk forever. And that's what was happening to me. No matter what I did, no matter how hard I tried, I was gaining weight. So eventually I just said, well, why am I doing this to myself? Might as well just eat the chocolate, right? And then I accelerated the process, right? Because I was just letting chocolate in now, like I was eating chocolate every day. It's like, what's the point? Why am I depriving myself, right? Feeling out of control with food is not a moral failing. I'm not telling you my story because I'm a bad person. I'm not a bad person. I'm telling you my story because I know that there's so many of you out there living my story. Why torture myself when I'm gaining weight anyway? This is not a moral failing. It's not a lack of willpower. It's actually a brilliantly designed psychological program doing exactly what it was built to do. I wasn't weak. Neither are you. But I was carrying 80 extra pounds worth of evidence that the script was controlling me. It was working. It was doing what it was supposed to do. I was eating the stuff. Fighting the script and eating unprocessed keto foods deleted the script out of my head, right? Because it allowed me to see what was happening, right? Like those first few days where I was fighting myself and I finally saw it, right? There's more to this than just I like a chocolate bar. I wasn't in control. I had taken a decision and then I wasn't able to follow through because I took rice away, because I took pasta away. I was still eating vegetables. It didn't make sense until I realized it made a bunch of sense, right? The addiction was screaming in my head. Wellness Warrior, within 5 months, I was at goal weight, right? But I need to get through those 2 days of fighting with my addiction. But I was at goal weight. That proved to me without a shadow of a doubt. That's when I started talking about it. Because once I got there, I knew without a shadow of a doubt that it was that program that was controlling me. I was not in control of what I was eating. Neither are you. And I learned that my body had been inflamed, which explained the 23 years of joint pain that I had that doctors were confused about. The doctors couldn't tell me why that was happening. Oh, maybe it's your sports. Maybe it's maybe it's because you're not walking. Oh, maybe you change your shoes. You need inserts in your shoes. Everything that cost me money, they told me to do, and I did it. Doctors couldn't explain, but the food, when I changed it, right? I stopped eating the healthy fruit. I stopped eating the healthy vegetables, the grains, the pasta. I was no longer eating bread. I took all those things away, and guess what happened? My body healed. The joint pain gone. And by the way, the joint pain was gone after 3 months, not 5. So I was only 20 pounds weight lost, and my body felt normal, which, by the way, 60 pounds overweight for my height is still obese. So the doctor's statements, because some of them did say that, oh, it's the weight you're carrying. No, was not the weight I was carrying, because and just to put the story in context, I noticed that my joints weren't hurting anymore because Pat asked me a question at 20 pounds lost, which was 3 months later. I couldn't tell you really when they actually stopped hurting because they hadn't been hurting for a bit by that point. Like, he asked me because I was doing so much stuff, and he's like, I noticed that you don't have to take a break after doing stuff anymore. What's going on? You feeling better? You're feeling better, right? So I don't even know. Was it 2 months later? I don't know. That's when he thought to ask me the question. How do you get the script out of your head? Right? I'm sure you're screaming to know. And if you're not asking me that question in the comments, you should have been asking that question. I'm going to tell you how that you're going to fight your addiction. That you don't even know you have. So, because you don't know you have this thing, how are you going to get rid of it? And this is how. Well, first of all, this is how you know you have it. Every single time you've ever tried to walk away from junk food, it pulled you back. There's not one person on this planet that doesn't know that junk food shouldn't be eaten, right? If you're eating cookies, ice cream, chips, candy as an adult, you know that you're out of control with food. That's step one. What you didn't know was that the bread, the pasta, all that stuff was feeding this addiction. I will give you credit for not knowing that because I didn't know that. So that's the part that you don't know. Well, so first of all, you can't fight a villain that you can't see. This is why this lie, this script that they implanted in our brain has been there for so long, because we can't see it. So we don't know that that's what we should be fighting. The first part of this whole process isn't to just get rid of the script, because you first have to see it. You need to be aware and honest with yourself, aware, that kind of aware, that you are not controlling what you eat. That when you tell yourself, I'm having this for supper, and then supper approaches, and you're looking at it and you're not happy to eat it, there's something going on there. When you tell yourself that you're not eating cookies or chips or junk food anymore, and then you see them and you want to eat them, there's something going on there. So, step one, separate yourself from the addiction, right? The first thing you need to understand and really do and really say to yourself with clarity is that voice in your head that says, just one bite, it's not going to hurt. We know the one bite hurts. You've had a hard day. You deserve this. How is eating junk food going to make my day better? What is it going to change from my actual day? Not a thing. You already ate one cookie. You might as well eat the whole sleeve. How does that make any sense? If one cookie is the actual serving, or maybe two, so if two cookies are serving and I had half a serving, then I actually did better than having the whole serving. Why would I punish myself by eating a sleeve? Because that's what you'd be doing. You'd be saying, hey, failure, you weren't supposed to touch it at all. So just eat the whole thing and show yourself what a failure. Why would I do that to myself, Wellness Warrior? This is the key. That voice in your head is not you. The voice in your head is coming from the addiction. It's the speak that compels us to eat the thing that isn't helping us because we are out of control. The moment that you see that the voice in your head isn't actually you, it starts losing its power, because now I'm realizing that that's an insert. That's an addition. I don't actually want to be doing that to myself. I'm doing it because I don't even know I'm doing it, because that voice has just been there. We have to keep in mind that we've been eating this way since when? Since we were small children, right? You're a good girl, here's a candy. You're a good girl, here's a purse of chocolate. You got 100% on your test, here's some ice cream. We've been doing this since we were small children. By saying no to the voice in my head, I actually opened the door to start starving it, right? I can starve it out. If you don't give the virus that's living in your head what it needs to run, it won't have the fuel to run. And the fuel that this virus is working off of, this crazy stupidity that's in your head that's taking control, the fuel that it runs off is sugar and processed foods, right? Because processed foods are full of salt, sugar, and fat, that trifecta combination that keeps you chasing. Even the healthy carbohydrates from fruits and high sugar vegetables and high sugar grains is still sugar. And so therefore still feeds the loop until you end up grabbing one of these things, right? The chocolate or the other, the crackers and cheese, until you grab the stupidity and end up eating the junk food. Anyway, your battle plan: eat real food, unprocessed real food, right? So healthy, keto, carnivore, low carb, but unprocessed, actual food. Keep your sugar count as low as you possibly can, which would, in my opinion, there's zero reason that we ever have to eat fruit. Doesn't exist. Doesn't exist. Nature's candy is exactly what it is, and candy is not healthy. So don't eat it. When you do this, you're actually starving the addictions, wellness warrior. You're getting rid of it. You are squashing it, and then you'll be able to throw it away. It's gone. This is the reframe, right? This isn't about deprivation. It's a reprogramming of your brain. You're teaching your brain what real food is. You're teaching your brain to stop chasing stuff that's causing the body to struggle, right? Your brain didn't want it in the first place. We got tricked into getting ourselves craving it, chasing it, longing after it. Sound familiar? Again, classic definition, right? So, addictions thrive in the dark. What we're actually doing is we're getting rid of that secret shame that addiction lives in, right? We're breaking the power that it has on us by grabbing it by the knees or the feet and dragging it out into the light, where we can look at it clearly and say, you don't belong in my house. You don't belong anywhere near me, right? When you actually pull it out and you see it and you hear the stupid voice, right? Just one. You can just start tomorrow, right? This isn't going to hurt you at all. When you see it and hear it at the same time, that's the moment that you start to take your control back, because you say, no, get out. I'm done. I had a physical transformation, right? Like, that was real. But that first few days, when I understood what was really happening, when I really could see that I'm eating so much carbohydrate, so much sugar, right? That my brain is out of control. That piece of information is what helped me get through that withdrawal period, but then understand what I needed to do next. Because the only way that I've ever seen in the work that I do, ever seen someone actually walk away from whatever it was doing, drinking or using other stuff. The only way that I actually saw them walk away was to change their environment and the way they were thinking about what they were doing. I changed the food that I was buying for my house. Month number one, I told my daughter, "Hey, you're gonna have all your junk food at grandma's." She was 9 by that time, so she was eating junk, but not a lot. She didn't like it that much. And that was part of the problem. She would have a box of cookies or a chocolate bar, take a bite, walk away, and leave it there. And who ends up eating the rest of those things? I was. So for the first month, they were not in my house, right? I created a clean slate for myself because I knew that changing that environment is what I needed. And I did that for a month. I didn't need more than that because miraculously for me, but everybody's different. But I do think that 2 weeks of actually not touching anything to do with the thing that's in your brain and having you out of control, when you don't touch the substance for a full on 2 weeks, you've got some strength there. And considering that the substance is all around me, I didn't want to put myself in the position where for more than a month I wasn't around it because I understood it needed to come from me. I needed to be the one that said, that's not food. And that's what I started to do. That's not food. The real success isn't losing a dress size or being lighter on the scale. The real success is having a quiet mind, wellness warrior. It's walking down the junk food aisle at the grocery store and not caring at all, feeling nothing. There's no resistance, right? You're not resisting the stuff. You're not having willpower and, oh my God, I'm not going to pick it. No, you feel indifferent. When you're in control of your decisions, you look at that stuff and you understand it's not food. Real health is freedom. It's freedom from cravings. It's freedom from addiction. It's freedom. When you prioritize your health, your body's going to regulate its weight. It's just the way it works. A healthy body regulates its weight. So I want you to prioritize health over the taste of stupidity. I want you to prioritize health over being like everybody else. Oh, if I go out to eat, I have to eat what they're eating. No, you don't. You really don't. You don't have to eat what they're eating. You don't have to drink what they're drinking. No, you don't. What you do is be healthy for you because that's what's going to make you feel amazing. That's what's going to make your life happy. That's what your body is meant to do. When you feed it right, it gives you a healthy weight. When you feed it right, it gives you mental clarity. I was thinking so much better. When you feed it right, your body feels terrific. There's no joint pain. Your skin is great. When you feed it right, your body works better. Period. If you're ready to end your sugar addiction, I have a video that I linked in the description that you're going to watch next. It's going to help you with your cravings and just let's get started. You can do it. It's about starting.